Pennsylvania, up along the Chesapeake, and then they sent them down south.
Yeah. Well, when we were children, we would go on vacation. We would go like to Pennsylvania, and we'd be, at the motel swimming in the pool, and our daddy would be in the courthouse and the graveyards and the,
We go to graveyards too.
doing family research.
This is what Doug did. Well, here's what's interesting. If we are from Walmore in the 1400s was France.
Hey, how are you?
So we are French.
Where's that husband of yours?
Well, he's at our church picnic that always falls on this
Gladfellows
day.
came from Zurich.
So he's the one that's
They married the Koontz out here, and she came from
been the problem in y'all not being able to come, right? So he's the one that's been the problem for you not coming.
And Alamanics were
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what he's always told me.
Yeah, well, always before he's had to do the grilling for the church picnic. And, but this year they're having it catered. So I said, well, you can go. And he said, well, I better go to the church picnic. I said, well, I'm going to the Koontz Reunion and try to support Daddy. And really, I chose to come to air conditioning rather than sit out in the hot woods.
Smarter, not harder, right?
That's why.
Yeah.
That's my
I got my pen and started drawing it. Well, you can look and see where you came from, how close we were, and this is schematic. I mean, no, this is real, man. This is not. But it leaves, to me, I can visualize it.
Well, and there was something that I read that the Koontzes actually went up to Ireland, the Dublin area of Ireland.
Some of them did.
And
Some of them, they went all over the place. To be honest with you, the Koontzes didn't go to every place. But the big majority of them were out in England. And then came over here. I don't know whether this is accurate or not. I have some shit. By the way, Andrew, if you know that there were 10 children in John Jacob's family, and Michael was the first one, and that's my lineage. And Andrew's the last one, and that's his lineage. And Andrew's son moved to Salisbury, and his name is John Thornton. John Jacob, who's out here, and Dorothy Gladfelter, and Andrew, this is John, Alex, Edwin. Ed was I dealt with Ed every day because he was head of the social services.
oh,
So I had to deal with him because I'd have abused kids come in. And I had abused kids come in, and I had to call Ed up and say, look, I got this situation. Investigate. Well, he had a son that was in our church. His name's Earl.
oh wow.
And Earl and Laura, Earl sang in the choir, he's a lawyer. We're the best friends of my daughter. So
Small world.
yeah, so they only had John Thornton and a few of these Koontzes here. This is out of their book, lineage. I said, look, I'm going to try and fill this thing halfway. I took them all the way back to Germany, all the way down to here. They don't even have this. I'm going to their reunion next month, I think. And I'm going to take this to them and fill out their
That's great.
they don't have this.
That's great.
You know, well, Doug Koontz is right, or Lemon's is right. Doug Koontz and them had a person went to Germany too, and went to the Walmart, and went to the church and got the records there. You could argue the problem with John Jacob, there were several.
Yes.
The big thing you have to remember is that we came from the K-U-N-T-Z, the K-U-H-N's are not Koontzes. K-U-N-T is our line. But Leon comes and showed it to me so I can talk to him. Oh, he had come. He had the casket coming for a while, didn't he? He went to school with me too. He was with Terry and Jerry Johnson. Terry and Jerry Johnson were related to us too.
Were they twins?
They were good friends.
Were they twins?
They were twins.
Because my husband was a twin, and they were Jerry and Terry. Yes.
And was at Wake Forest and walking down one of the sidewalks, and somebody tapped me on the shoulder, and it was Jerry. So Jerry ended up going away, and then he started at the computer business with Charlie. He became very well at that. And he married Anapa. Might be. Isn't that it?
Write y'all some name tags.
So we know you. We know you. How are y'all doing? We didn't come last year. Except for Debbie. Well, Debbie, my sister Debbie had a conference. She had a little reunion with her high school friends. She's going to that. Becky and I said, we're coming this year.
Well, you gotta come in advance.
Yes.
You
Okay,
do
so
it at the
your
last
name
minute, you're not in
is-
trouble.
Well, I had made a doctor's appointment Monday morning, not realizing it was after this weekend. And, you know, since I live in Myrtle Beach, I have to go stay in Burlington. I said, I don't think I can get there at 9 o'clock. And since I made it so many months ahead of time, I knew I thought I'm gonna go disappoint.
But there have probably been those times when you traveled in the middle of the night on Myrtle Beach. It's a much easier drive at that time.
Oh, yeah, it's not
But I
much
don't
traffic.
recommend doing that.
No, because I'm a morning person. I just, and a lot of times I'll get up at 6 o'clock and leave.
Make
and
another.
the traffic is great.
So, I want you to see this. We did this
That's why you had a buddy that had a
this is Harriet Clifton, but I want you to take a look at it sometime when you get a
and then
minute.
you go to college, you can go down.
You get
Yeah,
it.
I'm
We'd go in the middle of the night
certain.
because there's never college where you go.
Oh, yeah, you can just
Go as
scoot
fast
over.
as you need to go.
You know this, what my
I'm in
great-grandmother
kind of Surfside area. I'm really in just Horry County, but I'm about a
Mary
mile,
Erastus
like where Ocean Lakes campground with 544 comes out of the city. I'm right close to that. Been there 30
Get your own herbs and stuff and crazy people.
Such a big city now compared to what you
Oh, it is grown. I actually kind of stayed on the Saturdays and Sundays. I mean, unless I just have to go straight to church. Well, because Saturdays is the big day for coming in.
Ebenezer.
Ebenezer, oh, okay.
Three campgrounds, Ocean Lakes, there's Thailand.
So she goes back to the,
Use their grave there.
The traffic is back to
I've got, I'm looking on the stuff like this.
yeah, well, everywhere's building up. Where are these people coming from? Yeah, we have plenty of that too.
But she did,
We
she
have
not only
plenty
had
of
kids, took care of kids, but she
Well, everybody
Well, not
else
much
is-
took
fun
care of
either.
neighborhood.
Anyway, I thought you might like to see that. We've got to do something about an addendum.
When they start complaining about the
This,
South,
trying
I
to
said,
figure out
well,
what, you know,
this
put
is
on
the
the front to
South.
do that. But, that is,
Yeah.
I mean, it's about 300 pages. My friend printed it for us, and it's each family, and Clifton really worked. We're not doing it very well. So, let me just tell you this quickly. So, I'm not seeing well. I have I lost vision in my right eye. My left eye May the 6th. I had a stroke 4 years ago, and that was just central Pennsylvania. I didn't have any problems.
My neighbor is
That eye's open, but when you see them, it's when it's they don't know that they thought it was temporal arteries. No, giant cell arteritis.
not like
That tells you next to it, they say it's
she's
non-fibrosing.
part,
So I have
well,
a
she's
biopsy.
Irish.
Anyway, I don't see what everything is in
Well,
the
she-
blood. Keep driving. I
One
want
of the things where for me, that's the way.
Welcome to the South.
Because they're fried.
Yeah.
I like our soda bread.
well, I wish this was kind of.
Yeah, exactly. I said,
just
this
think
is
that
what
one
you
thing
get with seafood when you eat in the South.
Just the whole idea.
Well, they have, you know, they got all the crap and things like that.
Yeah,
So
they have
anyway,
good seafood.
if I mess it up,
It's not what we're used to. We're like it, we like it on fish
you
cake,
might take
that
it.
kind of
Yeah.
seafood.
I'd still check.
Oh,
I haven't even had a hush puppy since 10.
oh, no, oh, no. Yeah, that's a lifestyle change. I've had several friends that were indigenous.
They were just getting together for the fun.
I think she couldn't
They
even
didn't even crap.
have soy sauce. I mean, there was just certain things.
I knew them.
Yeah.
I go all the way back. That's far enough to know. Thanks, Kevin.
What do you love on it? What's this?
I'm gonna tell you. You can't trust him to do it.
No.
I was
But I know Becky's father was diabetic. He just cooked after his wife passed away. He cooked for himself and others. He said, I can't trust what's in the ground. You don't know, Southerners. Yes, you can't trust. They add sugar to the Southerners. My grandma.
sure who did it.
The Southern way.
I'm not gonna say anything, but this happens again, Myrtle will be in trouble.
There's a whole lot of
He knew who it was, he didn't me. He didn't embarrass me about doing anything, he just got up and went on out.
Yeah, well,
Like she was a good person. Yeah.
oh wow, well, that's amazing. But then well, if you ever need something, I can go pick it up. Because I'm right there. And they don't have it. Yeah.
Okay. How was your team? And so you needed Tommy because Tommy, he was fantastic.
Yeah. Well, we just got a
He played
Trader
for White,
Joe's last
played
summer
for North
in our, near my
Coach
house.
Essex was my coach.
Hadn't even been to it.
I wouldn't be for years.
It was so, it was so busy. The day it opened, they had a line around the building. So I heard there was a lot of
With
things.
Paul,
Yeah.
Cletus had Mary Gail, he married Afton.
Get it 3 days later. It's already
Yeah, you gotta, yeah,
right then.
yeah, this is so good. Yeah. Yeah, I know, like some people say, oh,
Mary Gail
well, you
Coontz
can get this.
showed up at college, she's got red hair with a white streak in it.
You can get it at Trader
She says,
Joe's.
I'm gonna cook.
Now, I mean, we have a,
But she got weeks ago, she was just dear friend. And
and just like people that cut up celery sticks and
he
are you kidding me?
her mother lived in the
I guess I grew up this way.
Paul, across the river. Yeah, he could, I grew up on
And they look beautiful.
But I don't want to pay $3.
No, I mean, it was
little
like,
White House
that was
with
something
green,
like $10
yeah,
for
little White House with green shutters and got an open building. Well, I did move, they moved us here on yeah, but that was their second house. The first house was actually on my grand's house, and that part was gone. So mother wanted her own house, John Seacon,
Oh, that's
on the
good.
other side,
Yeah.
they built and he built houses when he died, left the mom, and mom sold the house.
It's no personal.
Downtown Salt Lake.
I know, but you have to go here and here and here. We have a
So
lot.
it was in our own house of our own.
I try to get some things like refrigerator there, but you can't get everything there.
And I don't do
It's really just, yeah. Because
So Pete Hinkle, Les Hinkle live right above us.
it's,
So they got
and I'm trying to eat healthy. I mean, oh, I found some really good stuff there that I really like. I found things I like there. They have that I like there that I didn't find anywhere else. And so, well, it's got strong does have, so, yeah, it does have one strawberries, but it's,
Oh, he
better
did
than
on
what
Marquette
they
Road.
have. I usually do
Marquette Road, yes, but not over on
So I
Hinkle.
do for convenience.
Hinkle Road was, if you go across the river,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
houses are on the left, and all that was,
Well,
hey,
I
that was
like-
field. Those big dewberry.
My husband used to do this.
And then Claire
Anyway, I have to
and
finish.
Claire Haynes, her sister's name, had a beauty parlor there in the store. They
I
did
see
that
them
first
shopping.
one.
You can't trust them. No, because I'm like,
But there's some things that you can, I can just pick up something, you know, paper towels, toilet paper. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, certain things I'm like,
Well, I live in, Chapel, between Chapel
And that's where I,
There's a soda shop. Exactly. We, you know, 40 years ago, we lived out in the country, not anymore. But there's a little soda shop that's owned by one of my former students, and I met a teacher friend there who was away, she came back to visit. Anyway, she asked for coffee, you know, at lunchtime.
they're in,
And
St.
I
John's
knew it was a
Development,
high school
right
student.
beside our house,
Must have been
big,
her first year, I mean, her first day on the job, because she asked, first she asked
I
for
own
a
two
latte.
lots, that was my daddy and his sister.
I think we just have black coffee. Okay, do you have some cream? Yes. Do you have some artificial sweetener? She brings it, and then she brings some cream or artificial sweetener, she brings some other coffee. So my friend Megan drinks the coffee and she needs another cup, so she asked her, you know, for more. She's like, well, do you want me to use the same mug or should I bring you a new mug? And Megan said, why don't you bring your coffee back? And just pour me a cup, pour me a cup.
All you have to do is put like a half a cup of, like, pour half the cup full with like coffee and then put the rest of the way with milk.
So, you know, and yeah. And then she asked for mayonnaise. Well, the child was gonna bring her a jar of mayonnaise. And she's
that's
like,
pretty
oh my, can you have a little latte cup? Yes.
There's a Paul Haynes in there too.
Oh, yeah.
In
So
between
she
them
walks
and
off,
Fred-
and
Fred
my
was
friend
on
Megan, I was her mentor teacher 20 years ago. And she said, once a teacher, always a teacher. You have to teach these children
That was Fred.
what to do. We're like, well, bless her
It's not
heart.
the children's fault, it's the parents.
don't teach them.
I think you baked it too. Yes, in his case.
It was cherry, came from the Great British Baking. I made it the last time. Oh, yeah.
And you had baked it.
Yeah, and I think it was a different cake, but I remember in 2018 I baked that cherry.
52 by.
Yeah. It was a lemon. Oh, it was the lemon one with the frosting and the cherry.
I knew it too.
Because I just
You're
did.
10 years ago. Bill.
We're hoping to keep pushing on that, see if we can start cooking.
I do half the cooking.
Last my son,
Give me a living wage and I'll do, or at least a wage.
but it sure
Get
does
the
help.
dirt, because they said they know that means.
Just give me money and I can cook.
I did.
Well, it's been a blessing
You
to
have to
me.
have
If
the right
I've had
ingredients,
well,
that's good, because often I'm low on groceries like
and I'm
mine.
sure it hurts your bit.
You have to make it.
Scratching.
You have to make it frugal, but you also have to make some food that probably doesn't have like
Gold
10
looks
chemicals.
kind of like this.
That was great.
And it's just a strawberry.
And last week she also made me parents discussion about
Oh, well, I will just sit and I'll just sit
That comes
and say,
naturally in our family.
I have, what can I make, or just these.
she used to read those goals all the time now, so I just feel like I like back then now she's not
You were thinking, what am I gonna do with mayonnaise?
old enough to take them out.
Did I see him
Now
too?
that she's five.
Yeah, they got the
She's like,
So you're my dad's doctor?
I was. Yes, I was. And your sisters too.
That's exactly right, both of them, yeah.
I came by your house one night. Your church had money.
I'm so sorry.
I'm so
we're
sorry.
probably be in next year.
Were you the one that had mono or your sister?
I had it, I did have it, Kendall had it.
I came by because somebody had a positive test. I said,
Yeah.
I was driving away because I stopped in your house.
Might have been.
You got room for me? I said,
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
I'd just like to start by welcoming you all here to the Koontz 92nd reunion. Unfortunately, a huge part of our family couldn't be here today. They actually were on their way here, Nina and her family from Virginia, and young Audrey, Nina's great-granddaughter, having some medical issues, and they had to rush her to Roanoke Hospital. So if we could all just keep Audrey in our prayers, that would be awesome. And why don't we all bow our heads? I'd like to just open things up with a prayer, please. Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for this wonderful day, Lord. Thank you for just allowing us all to be here and gather in fellowship and catch up on old times with friends and family that we haven't seen for a long time. Lord, during this time, I'd just like to think of all those that we've lost since last year, and just know that our thoughts and prayers are with their families. Lord, I just want to thank you for the food that we're about to receive. Lord, I just want to say thank you to all the wonderful people in the hands that prepared all this food. Lord, I just want to pray for all those that are sick. I just ask that you be with them, bring them back to health, if it be your will. Lord, I pray for all those that had to travel today. I just ask that they get to and from where they're going, and that you would keep them safe. Lord, all these things I pray in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
At this time, our secretary is not here, but April has graciously volunteered to come up and read the minutes from last year. No, you
You wanted to eat and then have the business?
Yeah, we can do that.
Let's do that.
All right.
The food doesn't get cold.
All right, all this wonderful food is back there. I guess we're going to eat first, and we'll take care of business afterwards. Thank you.
how do you get along?
Now, we're still struggling with a lot of medical issues in relation to
You know, I can't.
me too. They didn't take mine the first time. They came back a third time to get mine.
Well, I looked it up, back when I had mine taken out, it says the average life expectancy is 38 years. Taken out.
Yeah,
60 years.
I would take that. I would take it, not ask any questions again.
It's still going.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's what they say.
I'll
Like,
be 80 in like, my uncle lived to be 101, so I don't know if I'll make that, but yeah. I just want to let you know, your kidney
well, depends on how you treat it, I think. There's plenty of people that don't right, because plenty of people don't take care of it properly.
Well, you're right about that. I eat mostly vegetables and fruits. I eat about 1 ounce of meat a day. And my being creatinine have stayed the same. They're abundance of normal. Well, being a doctor, I know all that stuff. There is a study that shows that people eat vegetables, only vegetarian, their kidney function never goes down.
Yeah.
People eat meat, so kidney function goes down. So I looked up how much meat can you eat, and it says 4 ounces a day. Well, fish or chicken or whatever.
Lower fatty meats. I'm more symptomatic. I just eat based on what doesn't make me sick. So,
Well, I eat on based on what I know, so.
well, that's my problem. I don't know what to do. I've had to learn a lot of crash course stuff in medicine, but not having a proper biological background, I can't make a good judgment.
I can get you with the meats. I can tell you the red meats, the kidney meats, make your kidney function. Eventually take your kidney. I have a friend who's my age, classmate, just called me and said, well, I'm going to kidney. Do dialysis.
got left that I can't digest raw much of anything. I can
You
do a
don't have
little
to,
bit of
but you
lettuce.
can eat the,
The
you
sugar,
can
I
eat.
also got a sugar issue where I can only have so much, like 16 grams of sugar a time, because I can't metabolize that either.
I'm gonna tell you, the main thing is you're not gonna control eating fresh anything, even if you prepare it.
And I'm with you on that.
Where you're gonna get in trouble is eating a lot of meat. You're kidding me.
That is about all I can do. And I don't eat a lot of red meat. I do eat a little white, but I don't make sure you do.
But if you keep it down to 4 ounces a day, which is really, that's not bad. I don't
Yes.
think
Yeah, no. I might have to eat because I probably have twice a day. It depends on what I'm gonna
I
have.
only eat 2 meals a day.
Do you not eat breakfast?
I eat breakfast and cereal. I eat grain cereal, I need fiber to make my job. And it's the other thing, chronic constipation leads to colon cancer. You're constipated, you want to get the test. Test is okay, nothing wrong.
Well, I get scoped all the time anyway. I had edema carcinoma, tumor of unknown origin, and they have done 5 resections now. Where my supposedly came out of my appendix is what they think. But it came out before they found it. It had grown so slowly over about 6 years, they think. And so it had attached my, I lost my ileocecal valve between my large septum and small intestine. It was attached to that. No way to counter that.
No, you cannot count it. You cannot have nothing to make up for it.
My problem is intestinal bacterial levels. I have perennially, because I've lost the ileocecal valve, I have constant phytosybosol, and I've been trying to, what they want to do is put me on side packs. In fact, that's going to be helpful. That's a great plan to be on that permanently. I've tried some over-the-counter stuff that's been good stuff for you, but it's better than because I've gone full circle with them. I've tried lots of them. I've tried probiotics with colostrum. I've tried probiotics that are just acidophilus. I've tried, there's 13 different ones that they can synthesize. I've tried the 13 that we can. And it comes down to, I'm just trying to eat things that can encourage the balance to be there, I guess.
Hey?
I'm Diane Hunter.
Jeremy Hunter. Cody Lavalette.
Whisper.
Whisper.
April Lavalette.
Pete Lavalette, and we all reign from the Nina Koontz, Nob Koontz, and April's mom, Sandra Koontz.
And Diane. It's your turn to say.
John Hunter.
All right.
My favorite color is red. Green.
We're just thrilled to be here.
Fantastic, appreciate it. Now at the end, we won't have to stand around and introduce ourselves like we were gonna do. I hate to bother your food.
No, not at all.
You gotta wait a second, Jim.
Okay.
Let the old one get here.
But, you know, it's got to be.
I guess
What's
Harry,
he talking about, the old one? I saw her go by a while ago. Oh, that's
Great.
I want you to, everybody just say who you are and how you're related to whoever.
Everybody look at Jim's.
Okay, you ready?
My son Tyler Berrier and my son Andrew Jackson Berrier.
She did a fine job of that. She did a fine job. Reggie, her husband, Reggie. Local Bill. Waiting on you.
Tyler Berrier, Patty's grandson, Patty and Reggie's grandson.
Andy Barrier.
I've been getting those gel shots in my knees.
Hi. So, this is Nathan. I'm Pam. My mother was Virginia Koontz. This is Cindy. This is Reynolds' daughter, one of them. Becky, another Reynolds' daughter.
Yep, David Reynolds Koontz was our father. Colleen and David Kermit Koontz were our grandparents. And we're descended from Charlie Gilbert Koontz and Ursula Pickett.
So all of y'all are Charlie Gilbert's descendants.
Yes.
Okay, good deal.
Well, they had 10 kids. He had 10 kids.
And you were too?
On his last family.
Harry Koontz, Charles Koontz, my daddy, Maxine Koontz, then me, grandson Riley,
Yeah, and so Liberty
my
College
wife
was
Angie.
in the mountains.
I got a whole bunch more scattered everywhere, but they couldn't make it.
What are their names?
What?
What are your kids' names?
We have Tanya, who's the oldest, she's in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and then there's Jason, and he lives here local, he's just on vacation this week in Florida, and then Erica is our youngest daughter, and
He went off the job.
she lives local also, she wasn't able to be here today, but this is her youngest son, Riley Koontz. And
Transferred him from Liberty to
Tanya has 4 children, Joshua, Caleb, Anna, and Chloe. And we have two that live in Texas, one that lives in Oklahoma, and one that lives in Tennessee in Clarksville. And they're all married, and Jason's got 3 girls, Olivia, Nora, and Hannah. And Olivia is married to Maddox, and then we have Erica has Nicholas, Rachel, and Rachel has twin daughters, and then of course Riley. So we have, and Carson, yes. So we have 11 grandchildren, and we have 4 great-grandchildren, and then by the end of this year, Lord willing, we'll have 6 great-grandchildren.
My gracious, what did you guys start?
I don't know what he started, but we have a crew.
I'm Harriet Murphy. I'm the daughter of Banks and Evelyn Evans, and she was Evelyn Koontz.
And her parents were,
Viola and Harry Koontz.
thank you.
I'm the daughter of Charles and Maxine Koontz. Daddy's parents were Viola and Harry Clark Koontz. I have a brother, Tony, and a sister, Donna. This is my husband, Reggie Lookable. You already know that. So, you know the rest of the family.
Hi, I'm Chris Koontz. I'm the son of Jimmy and Luzette Koontz, grandson of J.C. and Mary Koontz, who were J.C. was the son of Charlie Gilbert and Ursula Pickett Koontz. This is my daughter, Alice Koontz.
So he would make
My
a lot
mother,
of money
Luzette
in the
Koontz,
summer, but
and my
none
son,
in the
Simon
winter.
Koontz.
And then he became
And my father is John Franklin Koontz. My mother is Mary Edna Koontz. My grandfather was John Harrison Koontz. My grandmother was Mamie Estelle Everhart Koontz. I have a son who's a physician. I have 2 daughters who are teachers. And I lost my wife 6 years ago to a stroke.
Her name was,
And I graduated from North Davidson, so I'm here with where I grew up.
What was your wife's name?
And,
Your wife's name. Tell me what's your wife's name when that passed away.
oh, Ann. My wife was Ann Sellers Koontz. She was from Rocky.
They're on my phone from Catherine, so the opening, Mike Bean did the opening of the reunion, and Pete did the blessing. Minutes were read from the previous meeting, or previous reunion. Memorial was presented by Patty Lookabell, Jackie Davis, Alice Koontz Davis, Arnold Koontz, Wayne Koontz, Mike Koontz, and Maxine Koontz. Gifts that were given, the oldest was for Dick Koontz. He was, she says, 95 as of July of last year. graduates we had were Nora Koontz. The farthest traveler was Catherine Koontz from Charleston, South Carolina. The treasurer report was given, had $470.98. Rent is $500, $146 in postage, $300 for books. Collected $381, and the balance is $302.21. We had two memorials. I don't understand the writing here. Two memorials, Maxine, $100 was given. And old business, sheets of genealogy were to be given to Clifton for updates on the book. Sharing of family stories. New business was playground update. Patty shared table made by Dick Koontz. Patty mentioned passing the memorial on to someone else. Koontz to YouTube for future. And then we had our prayer in closing. There were 40 people in attendance last year.
Does anyone have any questions or comments about the minutes from last year? Seeing none, can I have a motion to accept the minutes from last year's meeting? We have a motion, second? Second, the minutes have been accepted. Do we have any new business that anyone would like to bring on? Any new business? Seeing none,
Excuse me a minute, what was the YouTube thing you mentioned on that?
I'm not sure. She's just got down here, it says Koontz to YouTube for future.
Okay, that's what I wondered, I thought you had mentioned that.
I think Clifton is looking at taking the old videos and so forth and so on, and maybe putting them to a YouTube channel going forward. That's something I think he's just kind of researching right now.
Okay,
I think Paul must have brought that up to Clifton, right?
is that what it was?
Yes.
Okay.
So something that Paul was interested in, and the boys on the trip, they were going to a mission trip, and then that changed, so then they're still out of the country somewhere, but anyway. And I'm concerned about Dick and Lou because I thought they were coming to that. The other thing I meant to ask, and I'm sorry to back up, I know we already approved everything. I realize that. You were talking about the monies, and I thought, well, maybe Lizette would explain that,
$500.
$500
Yeah.
rent, did you say?
Yeah, that's not correct.
rent for
That,
what?
I went back and when you said that, it made me think. What it was the rental of the fellowship hall, and it was $50, not 500. Okay, that's probably where they got it. And we had
Decimal
quite a
point
bit
in
of
the wrong place.
payout. And last year, I wasn't here, Patty took it for me, but I had, that's what we had. We had memorials for Clay Koontz and Mike Koontz. Patty and Reggie Lookville gave that. And then we paid Clifton Murphy for making the Koontz book and a thumb drive also for him. We had to pay for cups and supplies to use for our reunion. And I will say this now, Beulah went up several years ago, and they didn't say anything to me about the rent, that they are gone up to $100 now for us to use this place. So we need to think about it when you're giving. I need to go get a basket and pass it around, and, cause that helps pay for all this. We do have, you want me to go ahead and do the treasurer's report while I'm talking?
You're on a roll, so
Okay,
carry
so
on.
as of last year, we had $302.21. We paid out $50 last year for the fellowship hall. Gifts for the reunion were $25, so we paid out $75. We collected $394 last year. Now, Patty and Reggie Lookville gave $100 in memory of Maxine Koontz, and they gave $50 in memory of Missy Hedrick White. So our total collected last year was $544. So as of today, we have $771.21 in our treasury. And we get no interest, no nothing on our, the bank stopped all that a couple years ago. So we do have a little bit of money, so if, you know, but we need to think about that, make sure from now on that, you know, I'll get a basket and y'all can.
Does anyone have any questions or concerns about the treasury report? If I could see a motion to accept the treasurer's report as it was written. Second? All right, the treasurer's report has been accepted. Moving on to new business. Does anyone have any new business they want to bring up? Seeing none, I think our next order of business is elections. This is an election year, so we're looking for nominations for new officers, and we'll start with the president's position. Would anyone like to make a nomination for our president?
I'm not volunteering, I was just asking, who is our vice president right now?
I have no
Somebody
idea.
know?
I don't
He
know.
was the vice president the year before, and Michael Bean was the president. And then Nina called and said that he was the president this year.
So that's what it said, vice president maybe would step up, we can't figure out who it is.
But what he
Was.
was and stepped up, but no one stepped up to
Vice
vice
president,
president.
Okay. So he's stepping up, is that right? Is that what you're saying? That, did you preside last year?
I did not.
Okay.
Last year, he was vice president.
So this is his first year being president,
Yeah.
okay?
Well, apparently, after last year, Michael's term as president was over, and as vice president, I was told, automatically assumes the role for the following year,
Okay.
until there's an election. So it's my understanding that we're supposed to elect new officers this year. And you feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, because
It would be nice to just say it's 2 years and let him keep on doing it.
Would you mind staying and
We
doing
have
it
done that
another year?
before for 2 years.
We always have
Job's
it.
really hard to do, isn't it?
I wouldn't mind, and I wouldn't mind if someone else has an interest. They're more than what, I wouldn't be offended if someone else wanted to do the job, so. Is there a nomination for someone other than myself?
Nominations are closed.
Well, I guess by default, I
Acclamation.
will continue as president. Moving on to vice president, which is currently a vacant position.
Correct.
Do I see a nomination for vice president? Did I see your hand?
No.
Pam?
I'll be vice president.
Okay.
I mean, if no one else is gonna take it, somebody gotta volunteer, so.
I nominate Patty.
No.
Make the nominations, make a motion, the nominations be closed.
That's it. I second his nomination.
All right, Patty, welcome aboard, young lady. You're the new vice president. Our current secretary, who unfortunately couldn't be here, did show an interest in staying aboard if there were no other nominations. She's willing to keep that position. Are there any other nominations for secretary?
I think she does a good job getting the invitations out, so that's all.
All right,
That's
so
a job.
hearing none, Catherine will remain as our secretary, and how about treasurer?
Use it.
What's that?
If anybody wants it, speak up now.
We think you're
I'll
doing,
pass it on.
we think you're doing a wonderful job, and, so she will remain our treasurer. We want to have someone come do the,
I'm fine, I'm gonna do it right now. Are you ready to do it now?
unless there's any other business. Is there any other business someone would like to bring up?
The old business that was mentioned, the book that we've got, I laid it, it's Harriet's copy right there. We need to, if anybody's got any updated information, new marriages, family, kids, something, maybe we can get that to Harriet. I've talked to the lady that printed it about how how we could do an addendum or something to that, so to get the additional information in it. So that's a Clifton thing, so I have no clue, but, that would be, and he had a prior obligation at their church, so, but anyway, but that would be, get that information to him as far as going back to our initial book.
Did everybody hear what Patty said? So, if there's anything new, we need to get that information so that we can get it added to the book. That would be great. Any other business?
I don't know if this is business, I guess
Sure
it's
is.
just a story.
Oh, well.
But, and I've told a couple of people here, I'm Becky Koontz Lee, and my dad was David Reynolds, and his family called him Reynolds, because his dad was also David. I live in Chapel Hill, and I'm in the DAR, Daughters of the American Revolution. And there are 2 chapters in Chapel Hill, one meets during the day and one meets in the evening. And my chapter meets in the evening. So a lady from the daytime chapter said, I want to send you our newsletter. And I have several friends in both chapters, so I said, great. So she sent me the newsletter, and I was reading it. One of their members had done the February program on Valentine Leonard, one of her patriots who fought in the American Revolution. And I just about fell out of my chair because he's also one of my ancestors and is buried at Pilgrim Church. And so I told the lady who sent the newsletter, and she said, oh, that's Lenora Majette. I will send you her contact information. So I start talking to this woman, and we met for lunch, and we eventually found out that my great-grandfather, Charlie Gilbert Koontz, and her great-grandfather, Henry David Koontz, were brothers. And her, Wayne, it's Wayne, right?
Yes.
So Wayne knows her mother. She told me her mother was Shirley Koontz, who grew up on Arnold Road and was married here at Beulah Church. And so her name is Lenora, and she would be here today, but she is in Ecuador, so she's not here, and I hope she can come next year.
That would be great.
Yes.
Well, thank you for that.
Lenora, actually was at this church, as a young child, because she did come back because her grandmother Lucille Koontz and her grandfather Farrell Koontz are buried out here in our cemetery, and they were some of our oldest members, into their 90s.
Wow.
I want to take a picture of this.
We're all related to the Leonards, you know that. The Valentine Leonard's grandson married Sarah Koontz,
Yeah, that sounds right.
so we go way back.
But she also, John Koontz is one of her patriots also.
Yes.
She's
Yeah,
related to John
we think
Koontz.
we have about 4, maybe all of our patriots in common, which our patriots are Valentine Leonard, John Koontz, help me Cindy, and, I've got it right here, Felix Glatfelder, which became Clodfelder, and Frederick Michael. So I've been living in Chapel Hill for, I don't know, 45 years, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a cousin right here in Chapel Hill that I didn't even know about. It was just, I don't know, meant to be.
Her, if I'm correct, her mother, Shirley, was before she retired, and I'm assuming she's retired now, but she was a tour specialist at Mount Vernon.
Oh,
And that's
my.
what she did in Virginia, so
Oh,
she is
my.
very,
And
Shirley
then
has
Wayne
a lot of
said-
history.
She went to Wake Forest, and she was a cheerleader at Wake Forest.
She was,
When he,
yes.
when he was there.
Yeah.
Well, she lives in Virginia now, Shirley lives in Virginia now, and she's partially blind. I think she's got macular degeneration.
Right.
Well, Mary Gail Koontz was also there. Her mother was Afton Fritz, which is the Fritz farm, Lake Road, David Fritz's family. Interesting, she went to Wake Forest with me, so I had Mary Gail right behind me, and then right behind her Shirley. The interesting about the Fritz house, you know, it's an original house sitting there. My grandfather Saint built it. And when I saw Mary Gail at Wake, she says, I have his hammer. He had left his hammer up in the attic. So yes, there's a lot of
History there.
Listen, I went to school with 5 different people in my classroom that I'm closer related to that I didn't have a clue at North Ocean. I go back to our reunions, I'm learning. I've related to all these people. So there's a lot of relationships out there that are.
You never know
That
how
we don't
close
know.
your family
We
lives to
don't
you
know.
after 45 years, yes.
Yes.
Because Shirley has a nephew who lives just right down the road where she grew up at, on that farm, and that's Lindsay.
Is that her sister's child?
That's her sister's child. And
See, I went to school with her sister too.
Betty is still,
Betty.
is at a nursing facility, in Clemens, I think it is. She's had to go there. She had gotten, to where she couldn't live alone, so.
Well, Lenora said that she, has lots of cousins, but, they're not as interested in family history as she is, so.
Yes, she has really dug up, because she did come to Beulah. She gave me a call and Patty a call. It's probably been about 1.5 years now that she has really been, looking, and, I think
Yeah, because that's about the time she joined the DAR.
Yeah, so, Patty was here, I was sick, so Patty came and met her one day and, tried to get her as much information as she could, because we do have a lot of just different things, historical wise here at Beulah.
Oh, that's great.
But a lot of those people that you name have roamed these halls here at Beulah, so.
Well,
And grew
you know,
up
I went to the Koontz Reunion. I live in I'm a physician, pediatrician for 59 years. I'll be about 60 years next year. And I'm still working at 88. But I went to the Koontz Reunion over there because I didn't know any of them. I went to Salisbury, I get their mail and everything else. There's another Wayne Koontz. But I know if they're related or not related. So finally I went to a reunion, and their relative is Andrew. So there is 10 grandkids and 10 kids in this family of John Jacob, and the last one was Andrew, and Andrew had a son, John Thornton, and John Thornton is the grandfather of all those people over there. And one of my good friends at the church next to me, his name is Earl Koontz, and that's John Thornton's. And he and I had no clue that we had any relationship whatsoever. We were just sit there and talk in the fellowship hall. So it's a fascinating thing, and actually their genealogy is not nearly as researched as ours. And I've got right now, I brought theirs up to date. I'm going to take it to their meeting so they can bring their book up to date. But they didn't realize that your meeting over here, they didn't realize they had all these relatives. So there's a lot of information out there. I've got a whole room full of genealogy. I'm trying to write a book, I don't know if it'll ever get written, on the reasons that we came to America and the passages we came through and where the stops were. I'm just trying to do a historical book. And I've got more research, but every time I get somebody to help me write it, they die. I just got information running out my ears.
Wayne was just showing me an interesting fact a few minutes ago that back in the 1400s, possibly one of the brothers who came over to America that started the Koontz people in America, some of his people possibly were in a part of Germany that was at that time was France. So we may possibly be French German instead of totally German. We've always thought our ancestors were German, but it's possible. Is that not right, Wayne?
It is. The problem is Jay, the guy out here, his whole family is hard to trace back. I got the ship that possibly came over to Johnson, and he's lasted John Jacob, Kuntz. Okay, that's 1732. Okay, but there are other John Jacobs. That's the problem. This John Jacob was researched by Doug Koontz, who was my cousin. My grandfather was John Koontz, and his brother was Fred, and Doug was Fred's son. Doug was a vice president of Wachovia Bank, and he worked in Winston, and he worked with Wake Forest University genealogy to trace our family back. And they actually traced it back to a church in Walmore. And they have the birthdays and the genealogy of all this. Now, I understand Leon Koontz has got a different version, so that's the problem. But if we're from Walmore sits right on the French border. And France has annexed Walmore twice, in the 1400s, then annexed it in 1710. And then it went back to Germany. So we're principally German. And the peoples were originally from Switzerland, which is Alemannic. And there, the Alemannic are a learned people. They were shopkeepers, what we would consider teachers and that kind of thing now. And the Franks conquered them and replaced them in Germany, so we have a lot of Frankish in us, and that comes from the Netherlands. So one's down at the lower end of the Rhine River, the other one's up at the other end, up near England, Rotterdam, that area. So we're a mix of those two races, and the Franks were more of a farming type people, very intelligent but more practical people, and the Alemannic were more intellectual type people.
What was the name of the ship?
Johnson. I have it right here. I actually have a passion on this. You can look at it. Take a picture of it if you want to. It's just a lot of information. Here it is. Okay.
Yes.
Hand that to her.
Thank you.
88-year-old body doesn't like to get up and down.
So the group of Koontzes in
So what?
Salisbury, so the group of Koontzes that you went to their reunion,
Yes.
from the Salisbury area,
Yes.
have they ever been a part of this Koontz Reunion?
No, but I had a preacher there that was a preacher here at this church. And I can't remember his name. And he's a part of that group over there. And he said, oh yeah, I was at Beulah and I preached there. And so he knew all about this church and all that was going on. But I don't know, I guess he had come to some of these meetings, but nobody else there had. It's like there's two separate worlds. And when I went into it, I actually, for 50-some years, didn't have a clue who they were.
And you said a Fred Koontz and a Doug Koontz.
All right, now, if
Well,
you go up to the grocery store up here,
Yeah,
that was
that
John
was Uncle
Koontz.
Fred's house.
That was John Koontz. That wasn't Fred. The grocery store was John, my grandfather. John Harrison, Mamie Koontz. That was right where that grocery store is, because my family sold them, Lacey Hagee, the land, and he built the grocery store. Right above that was a dentist's office.
Right, and
That
then,
was Fred Koontz.
that was the Fred Koontz.
That was John and Fred. Listen, the Koontzes, y'all are probably good people.
And then
The Koontzes that I knew didn't get along. They fought.
Sounds like a-
I loved Uncle Fred to death. They loved me, but John and Fred didn't talk.
Well, I remember going up to Uncle Fred's house.
Yes.
And then his son Doug lived right above him.
No, it's Ed. That's not Doug. That's Ed.
That was Ed, right. But
Ed's the black sheep.
Ed did not, one of them had a son, Doug, that lived in Lexington.
I don't know who that was. It might be Douglas Elrod. It was Douglas Elrod, that's Doug. Douglas' name was Elrod, that was his middle name, and that was his mother's name. So Elrod's an unusual name. So it was Douglas Elrod Koontz. And Douglas Elrod Jr. was his son. He
Well,
had
there
two
was
sons.
I remember my mother talking about her cousin Doug.
Yeah, well
And he lived in Lexington.
well, that was with Douglas Elroy, okay? Yes, they were wonderful people, and I loved them to death, but, the two brothers just didn't get along.
Well, I never knew how, I called him Uncle Fred.
Uncle
I
Fred?
never knew how he was related exactly to my grandfather, but
I'm not sure I can help you. Who was your grandfather?
it was Harry Clark Koontz. Harry Koontz.
They were related, cause Uncle Fred used to bring his whole family to this reunion, and
And Aunt Maud, her name was
Aunt
Maud.
Maud was a Leonard. She
And
was
see,
the
my
Valentine-
grandmother was a
She
Leonard.
was from the Valentine Leonard. She was Maud Leonard. Her brother was Jim Leonard, who was married to Addie Mae Everhart. And Addie Mae Everhart is my great aunt. And I bit her on the leg in the first grade and got kicked out of school. That's a true story.
Oh, I know,
And
Aunt Addie
Mrs.
Mae
Chapman
called
thumped
it
me on
welcome.
the head.
I know you
Listen, I give you a whole story.
Miss
Mrs.
Leonard.
Chapman thumped me on the
Miss
head
James
like you did a watermelon,
Miss James
and
Leonard.
my daddy broke his head on my rear end.
Yeah.
And that's the last bite I made, too.
Well,
Yes,
see,
Uncle
my
Fred.
grandmother was related to Maud, because my grandmother was a Leonard.
I tell you, Leonards are all over the place, so we're related, you don't have to worry, we're related to the Leonard in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. But yes, and we go all the way back to Valentine, but we all go all the way back to the second generation. Her name was Sarah Koontz, I believe, was the one that married Valentine Leonard.
Well, the Valentine
The
Leonard and
third or
all of
whatever.
that history is in the book that, Clifton did.
He formed Pilgrim Church. He and, Philip, what was the other guy's name? Anyway, there were three of them that formed Pilgrim Church. And then the church was the Reformed and the Lutheran. And the Lutheran didn't have a pastor, so that's why they were mixed. And the Lutheran split, and that was my grandfather who built New Pilgrim. My grandfather was a builder. He built that house for Fritz. He also built New Pilgrim Church. So, it's a whole interesting thing going on over there. I have a lot of relatives buried in that old Pilgrim graveyard.
Well, following all of that history, and thank you so much for all the research that you've done.
Okay, I'll shut up.
No. I want to give you an opportunity when we're done here to continue. I think this would be a good time to remember those who we have lost. I'm not sure who's.
So just one thing before we do the memorial service was the little book that you have laying at the table. I had asked, our friend has done some copy printing for us before to do these, and so I'm very appreciative of these. Make sure you take one. If you've got family that needs one, we have, obviously we have extra. So please take them and share them, and just know it's just something that I wanted to do for everybody for our reunion today. So, I really want to take a minute to thank Harriet and Reggie and Angie for coming up here and helping me get the table set up and making the place look so nice and pretty. Angie did a wonderful job with the flowers. And sorry not more here to enjoy them, but I'm really excited about them. Our flowers that we had back there, flowers that I had put on the altar today at the church, in memory of our parents, Charles and Maxine Koontz, and in honor of the 92nd Koontz Reunion. And I like to do that every year for our Koontz Reunion. So I did have those flowers back there on the altar today. So I'm glad that you're here. I'm sorry that there's not more of us to be here. I hope those are traveling were halfway down the mountain coming this morning when we had to turn around for emergency. So please keep, as you said, keep others that are traveling as well, and a lot of things going on. So, but anyway, I do want to I asked Luzette to help me with the memorial service. Initially, didn't think we had anybody, and I don't believe, as far as our direct Koontz family, I don't know that there's anyone that's passed away this year in our immediate Koontz family. It's all connected in that book to us. I think that's right. However, yes.
Well, Cindy and I were not able to be here last year, but, you know, our father, David Reynolds Koontz, his brother, Dickie Kermit Koontz, passed away in January of 2025. So, January a year ago.
High Point.
In High Point.
So I guess maybe that's why can you maybe get that obituary? Get that
It's
information?
very short.
It's
He
just
he didn't want a long obituary. I could have written him an obituary longer than your arm, but he didn't want that.
Yeah,
And
interest in life.
Jan honored his wishes, and he was cremated, and there was no service. But, yeah, we'll get you the information.
We need to make sure, and this was David Reynolds' brother.
Yes. Yes. So his brother was 14 years younger than our dad, and he was 10 years older than I am. Exactly 10 years older than me. And I really, you know, as a child, he was a teenager, and I just thought he was the coolest teenager on earth. And I looked up to him my whole life. He worked most of his career as a designer at Thomasville Furniture. And Cindy's got one of his chests that he designed, and he was a wonderful artist and designer. As a teenager, he wanted to design cars, and he actually did enter 2 of his car designs into contests in Detroit, and he won a 1st place and a 3rd place for his car designs, and some of his designs were actually used in real cars in Detroit. And it was his dream to design cars, but, you know, that didn't come to fruition. He designed furniture instead. And he was in the Coast Guard for a short amount of time, but just like me and a lot of people in our family, I don't know why he joined the Coast Guard, because he got seasick and had a medical discharge from the Coast Guard, because he was on a ship, and he told me that at the time he didn't care if he rolled off the deck of the ship and drowned, because he was that sick. So, anything else you want to add about our Uncle Dickie? Okay. And his wife Jan still survives. And she's
from this area.
She's from this area. She's my age. She's 10 years younger than me.
Her dad is Giles Wilson. Giles Wilson.
Yeah, her parents are not doing well.
No, they both passed
Oh,
away.
they both passed away?
No, within
Oh, that's right.
like
Yes,
days.
yes.
Another thing that we didn't mention last year was Catherine's mom. Oh my gosh, I cannot think of her name. Bonnie. She retired as a judge in South Carolina last year. And in her honor, they named the courtroom in her honor. So it's Koontz. I can't remember exactly what it says in the courtroom, but it is named in her honor. It was such an honor, and they recognized her for that. And I was hoping that she'd have been here last year or this year, but well, we dismissed last year, but we got to mention that. But I wanted to make sure and say that that's really an honor for her. You can't serve in that position once you're a certain age in South Carolina, so she had to retire. But so I wish we should have been here today, but they live in Charleston, I think it is.
This is her other daughter, Diane. This is Catherine's sister.
Yes.
I'm the only one here today from my family.
You can tell more about it then.
Yeah, the courtroom was named, I was trying to find a picture of it, but yeah, Bonnie Koontz Courthouse, Magistrate's Office or something like that is where they put it as. I was trying to find a picture of the exact wording, but yeah, it was a kind of.
It's kind of neat to see that, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, it was quite an honor.
Some of you may remember Bonnie was a Kepley from West Center Street Extension, lived right beside of where Burt Wagner lives now.
That's her.
Right, and, she married, Ray Koontz, who was No Koontz's son.
That's her,
That's her.
that's her
lived right
father.
close-
Ray is her father.
Right. And, I've always felt very close to her. Her and my sister were the same age, and went to school together.
They, Bonnie was Miss North Davison,
Right.
senior year. Very pretty woman, she very, I remember she was here the year that, she turned, gosh, was it what'd she tell us, 70 or 75? And they made her in South Carolina, they won't let you be in 70, yeah, and she didn't really want to do that, but. But thank you for the information, we appreciate you. Yeah. Anytime y'all find any obituaries, if you're people that attend to the country or whatever, you can let me or especially Patty know. She kind of keeps up with all that. Her mama did that forever, and Harriet's mama did it before her, so it's kind of,
So we're coming together.
yeah.
And today we are, Suzette's helping me today, pardon me, I have some vision issues going on, so, I might miss a few words, or, Reggie's trying to, make the font really as large as he could. So, please bear with me, and, we'll have this memorial service now. So as I said, we don't have any in our immediate family, but, as we got to looking, there were, several, like down in the West Davison area, and that Koontz's. So we just want to recognize, I asked Lizette just to give a little bit of information in just a minute, about them. So, so anyway, so let me see if I can magnify this to please the Lord. Let's see. We gather today as family, connected not only by name and blood, but by shared memories, shared stories, and shared love. And as we gather in celebration of life and togetherness, we also take a moment to remember those who are no longer with us, physically with us, but they remain deeply in our hearts, closely. Scripture reminds us in Psalms 116, chapter 15, precious is the sight of the Lord in the death of his faithful servants. Today we pause to honor those who have gone before us, parents, grandparents, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins. Can you think of those? Take a moment and name them in your heart. Your ancestors, your parents, your grandparents, those people that we've talked about that are important to our family. Sometimes we might think, it's just just as we get older we talk about this, but, we look back and see, that is our ancestors. 92 years ago, now, there were people that started this Koontz Reunion. What if they thought we'd make it to the 92 years? And here we are today, remembering their memories of what they started and being thankful for our ancestors and what they gave us to be proud of. So I'm thankful to be here today to remember those. We want to think of all those whose laughter and once filled our gatherings, whose wisdom shared our lives and shaped our lives, and whose love helped build the families that we are today. Grief has many faces. Sometimes it comes quietly in a memory that catches us unnoticed or off guard. Sometimes it comes in laughter, when we tell a funny story or we realize how much we still need their presence. And sometimes it comes in silence, when words are not enough. But even in loss, we are not without hope. We remember that love does not end with death. The relationships we cherish are not erased. They are transformed and transferred into a memory, legacy, and have an impact. We give thanks for the lives they lived, for the sacrifices that they made, for the lessons they taught, for the traditions they passed down, and for the love and they gave freely and fully. And we remember them. We also acknowledge that part of what brings us together today is their influence. In many ways, they are still shaping this family through our values, our stories, and the bonds we continue to strengthen. In Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1, it says, "We are reminded, to everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven." Life is a time this is a time to remember, folks. A time to honor, a time to give thanks, and also a time to continue living in a way that reflects the love they showed us as a family. So as we enjoy each other's company today, may we carry forward what they gave us, love that has no boundaries, that's kindness and reaches across generations, and unity that binds us together even when life changes. Let us close this moment with gratitude for those we have loved and lost, and for the gift of being together again. Now let us hear this.
The first one is Barbara Koontz. She was born November the 18th, 1953, and died September the 5th, 2025. She was Barbara Knight Koontz of Winston-Salem. She passed away at her home at the age of 71. She was born in Marion, Indiana, to the late John Morrison and Joy Pattison Knight. She was a devoted wife, mother, grandmother, and friend who brought joy and kindness to all who knew her. She found great happiness in traveling with her beloved husband, Stan, whether it was visiting family across the United States or spending time at the North Carolina coast, where they enjoyed exploring local restaurants together. She was eagerly anticipating attending Stan's 50th Wake Forest class reunion this October, which would have been last October, to reconnect with their cherished friends. If you folks will remember, they were here 2 years ago. That's Stan Koontz. That's kin to us, kin to my husband. That is his wife. They were sitting right about where y'all were sitting.
That's Bobby's brother.
Bobby's brother.
Yes.
Barbara was preceded in death by her brother Stephen Dale Knight and a grandchild, Alexandria Rose Koontz. Left to cherish her memory is her husband Stan Koontz, son William Steve Allen, daughters Kendra Strickland, Tony, Kelly Bird, Andrew, Angel Koontz, and Ashley Koontz. Brother John Knight, 6 grandchildren, Case, Josh, Dakota, Sierra, Sydney, and Scott, and one precious great-grandchild, Thomas. The family, well, it goes on, it said she was, had her visitation at Hickory Tree Road, Davison Funeral Home. But this was one, after she said that, I didn't realize, but this was one close to us in our Koontz family. Scott Koontz, born January 13, 1972, and died September the 26th, 2025. He was 53 years old, and he died in North Augusta, South Carolina. He was born on January 13, 1972 in Davidson County. He was raised by his loving grandparents, Robert Bob and Mary Jo Koontz. This was Koontz spelled with an S, who loved him like a son and to whom he always referred as Dad and Mom. He was a man who was larger than life and was always up for the next adventure. He embraced life to the fullest as he spent time with his family. He rode motorcycles and, above all, treasured moments shared with his wonderful family. His greatest pride and joy was in being a father to his daughter, Willow, whom he loved with all his heart. Along with Bob and Mary Jo, he is preceded in death by his sister, Cynthia Smith, and his grandparents, Jack and Mary Dorset, and Thurman and Beatrice Koontz. Now that's from down in the West Davidson area, if I'm not mistaken. Laughter and memory has outworn personality, and that laughter could always absolutely fill the room as his wife, Elizabeth Owens Koontz, and his own ray of sunshine, his daughter, Willow Mary Jo Koontz. He is also survived by his brother, Danny Koontz, who is married to Angie, brother Robert Koontz Jr., who is married to Rayanne, and family, Cecilia Beecham, Courtney Thrift, Toby Varner, Daniel Koontz, along with more than 20 nieces and nephews and many cousins, and extended family. Okay. Rayvon Koontz Michael. Now, some of you from around here may remember that one. Reggie and I were looking at this one. I think this is one from somewhere in this area. We're not sure whether it's Rayvon Koontz Michael, a member of the Davidson County community. He left this world on November 11, 2025 at the age of 87. He was born in Davidson County, and he embraced life with an open heart and a passion for the simple pleasures that brought him joy. Throughout his career as a blueprint reader at Procter & Schwartz, Rayvon demonstrated a commitment to his work and a dedication that inspired those around him. Yet it was the tranquility found in nature that truly flourished his spirit. He loved farming, fishing, and tending to his garden, often seen riding his beloved tractor plowing the fields that brought him solace and satisfaction. Rayvon leaves behind a legacy of love, warmth, and connection within his family. He is survived by his beloved wife, Ozell Sloan Michael, who has been a steadfast companion throughout the years. Their bond was a testament to love's endurance characterized by shared laughter and mutual support. He is survived by his son, Ray Michael, and wife Donna of Lexington, his daughter, Jan Michael Cowan, and husband, Ned of Lexington, and his daughter, Kim Michael Harrison, and husband, Darrell of Winston-Salem. In addition to his immediate family, Rayvon took great pride in his relationship with his siblings, Franklin Michael of Lexington, May Hawk of Lexington, Ann Smith of Linwood, and Florence Snyder of Denton. His grandchildren list Adam Cowan, Aaron Mosley, Stacy Snyder, Emily Jackson, Corey Harrison, and Courtney Mayo. Rayvon's preceded in death by his parents, Louis Franklin Michael and Hazel Koontz Michael. Okay. Now, another one we have, Troy Lee Koontz, 93 of Lexington, North Carolina, passed away Tuesday, February the 24th, 2026, at Atrium Health Lexington Medical Center, surrounded by his loving family. He was buried on, funeral was on February the 28th, 2026 at Piedmont Funeral Home. He was born August the 9th, 1932. He was preceded in death by his father, Dayton Koontz, his mother, Sadie Everhart Koontz, and his wife of 60 years, Doris Prevette Koontz. After the passing of his wife, Troy made his home in Ocean Isle Beach for 15 years until he passed away. Surviving are his daughters he loved very much, Kitty Lanier, Troy Ann Michael, and Sarah Ratcliffe, all of Lexington. He had 6 grandchildren, and also leaves a sister-in-law, Kay Prevette. He was a member of Meadowview Presbyterian Church and attended for over 50 years. Okay. Another one is Pearl Gregory Koontz, 79 of Clemens. Went to be with Jesus on Wednesday, April the 22nd, 2026 at Davidson Health and Rehab in Lexington. A graveside service was held at 2 p.m. Tuesday, April the 28th at West Lawn Gardens of Memory with Pastor Don Fulton. There was no formal visitation for her. She was born August 23rd, 1946, Forsyth County, to Everett Gaston Gregory and Mary Lee Sellers Gregory. She was preceded to death by her parents and a brother, Jerry Gregory. Surviving is her husband, Larry Wayne Koontz, her son, Greg Koontz of Clemens, a daughter, Shannon Koontz Watkins of Georgia, and 6 grandchildren. And the last one we have is Larry Giles Koontz, 79 of Lexington. He passed away at the Hinkle Hospice House on June the 2nd, 2026. He was born June the 1st, 1947 in Davidson County to the late Clifton F. Koontz and Annette Barney Koontz. He was a graduate of West Davidson High School and a graduate of North Carolina State University School of Agriculture. He retired from the North Carolina Department of Transportation, where he served as supervisor for 30 years. He loved the outdoors and enjoyed farming. He had a passion for tractors and working with farm equipment. He is survived by his wife, Gwen Briggs Koontz of the home, his brother Frank Koontz and wife Patricia of Raleigh, niece Christy Brackett of Raleigh, nephews Charles Koontz of Atlanta, Sean Nave of Lexington, and great-nephew McKay Brackett of Raleigh, Davis Koontz of Atlanta, and Lee Koontz of Atlanta. That's it. That's it.
Anybody else have any comments or anything that, they'd like to say, today for the memorial service? Let's close this service in a word of prayer for you. Heavenly Father, we pause now to give you glory and praise and thanksgiving, Lord, for bringing us all together today. Let us, as we celebrate our 92nd Koontz family reunion, Lord, as we pause to think of those who started this gathering 92 years ago at this fellowship area, we're so thankful for the legacy that they gave to us. And now, Lord, be with us as we, members of the family, can carry on this legacy, Lord, that give us the desire in our heart to keep these flames going, to encourage others to be a part of this, so that we can continue on, Lord, that we can grow and that we can grow to be 100 in your family reunion. What a blessing, Lord. Thank you so much for taking care of us, bringing us back together again today. Lord, please be with us as we travel. If it's just up and down the road, Lord, if it's distance away, keep us all safe. Be with those that were en route and had to turn around. Be with their loved one and caring for them. Lord, we all have needs. They're great in many ways, but we know that you are the mighty healer. And we just ask that you just take care of us. Whatever it is, your plan for us, each one of us, Lord, please let us open our arms and our minds and our eyes that we can see your plan and let you be in charge of our lives. Let us know that you're there for us all the way. Lord, I thank you so much for the blessings of just being able to be here today with family and friends. Lord, I thank you for everybody that's here. I thank you for this wonderful food and fellowship that we've had and the information that we've shared. And Lord, please be with us until we meet again, Lord. Keep us in your heart. We'll keep you in our heart close by, Lord, as I know you've always got us by the hand. These things I ask in your name. Amen. I don't know if Reggie was able to find anything or not.
Are you ready?
Yes.
We think we got something, maybe.
So, Albert can be here today.
It's not Albert. We couldn't find Albert. He's at the beach somewhere. We couldn't find him, so this is the next best thing.
On
none, I make a motion that we adjourn. Second, third. Meeting is now adjourned, and any help that we can get to put this, when we're finished, this room back in the condition that we got it in, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you all for coming, and as Patty said, safe travels to anybody that's, well, to anybody at all. Safe